Hey, welcome back to Hogilac TV. Today we're going to be talking about something I feel is pretty important. Back in the day, I was once a motorcycle safety instructor for MSF. Didn't work a whole lot, but with the military and having kids, I think I got loose. I think I did it we did it maybe once a month, but it was pretty cool when doing it. As I was going through some of my stuff here, there's an article that I was actually in back in the day, but just talking about service member going in to take the motorcycle safety class. And safety is pretty important. One thing I used to do when I started this class, when I started instructing was I would always, ask the students, the first night, what is one of the things they always think about when riding a motorcycle? Of course, everybody came up with safety. And a lot of folks say, I always want to be safe when riding. Safety is over everything, and I totally agree with all that. One of the things, when I started riding, I always said I don't want to be on the 6 o'clock news or midnight news. And I've actually had situations where throughout the time I was in the military, to where you're looking at TV throughout the day. Actually, one Sunday I was watching some TV. I don't know if I was watching football, what was going on, but when they have come up with the news breaks and they talk about fatality on a motorcycle that involved a service member. And it just hit me right then. I was talking to a guy, one of the guys I work with, one of the NCOs that I work with, was saying what he was going to do that weekend, go for a ride. And I think he actually got a good ride. And he was headed back home and stopped by the mall. And I think he was going to get some vitamins or supplements from GNC within the mall parking lot. And I think just within the mall, a car ran a stop sign and hit him, took his life. That's pretty crazy. But my thing was anytime, I think about it every time I leave home. When I roll the Hogilac out of the garage, first thing I definitely think about is I don't want to be on the news, whether it's 6 o'clock, 11 o'clock, 10 o'clock. And so for that part, I mostly, try and ride pretty safe, pretty responsible. But today, we talking safety. Going to do T-clocks inspection. Within the T-clocks inspection, of course, it covers tires, controls, lights, levers, oil, chassis, and the side stand. So those things we're going to talk about in this inspection. What I'm going to do now is go ahead and grab my tool bag. Also, another good thing about doing this inspection, you have pre-ride inspections. It's some inspection you can do during the ride. You're always looking over your bike. A lot of times when I'm cleaning my motorcycle, I just got certain things that I check. But this T-clocks inspection I'm doing here is great for the winter time. I actually have it up on the stand. I'll be checking everything. And also another good thing to work out when you're doing this type of inspection is seeing exactly what tools you need on the bike. For example, not that it should happen, but the hex heads, Allen wrench, different torques that you use to torque things down on your bike. It's a good time to check all the bolts. That's what I'll be doing throughout this inspection. I'll go through and try to check all of the bolts that are visible that I can reach and make sure they're secure. And that's just another opportunity to make sure you have those things within your toolkit. So what I'm going to do is go ahead and get started with this and walk you through some of the things. I'll grab my tool bag out. Like I said, make sure I have some of the proper tools that we need. And I just try to carry those with me on the bike all the time. So here's my tool roll here. Inspecting the tires, of course, we're going to go around. We will check out the sidewall. We would check out all the bolts within the tires. We'll check the bolts here on my calipers. I'll check the tire tread. Also with checking the tires. Mostly, we usually just check the air pressure and call it a day. But I'll check the air pressure. And different people run different air pressure within the tires. Me, honestly, I usually do about 36 in the front, and then I do like 38 to 40 in the rear. That's how I run mine. But you can get the recommended pressure on the side of the tire, and then on the motorcycle itself, it has a recommended pressure. But it's very important to check the tire for safety reasons, and not only that, the amount of pressure that you have with your tire could affect your tire wear. And it's important just to get the longevity out of your tire wear is to keep the air pressure correct. And I normally check mine a couple times throughout the year. Definitely before I take long rides, I usually check tire pressure. But when checking tire pressure, like I said, we're gonna take care of the, I check all these bolts all around. I would check my caliber bolts, the bolts holding the ABS deal here. And then I'll check the air pressure, and then I'll move around and check the tread. Normally, there's some things set up where people will put a penny in there, and it's with the head of the Lincoln, and they also have different tools to check it. But honestly, I just look at mine. It's pretty deep there, so I'm still to go there. And some of them have wear bars. Different tire companies have different types of wear bars, so you can check that out too. Every other pattern or whatever, you catch a wear bar on there. And like I said, while I'm down here on axle, I'll check these hex heads here. I'll check all the bolts that go into the rotors. Look at the rotors, see if they're excessively worn, anything on that. But what I'm gonna, and then I'll check the tightness of the fender. So I'll check all these bolts here around the fender. And it's gonna call in another area where you check all the cables and everything. But I'll look for any residue of oil, brake fluid around these calipers. Trace these hoses up there, and then I'll find them on the other end and check that out too. Another thing, what I will do once I'm done with this, I can't get this tire to spin around right now, but I'll probably have somebody roll the bike, or either I'll jack the bike up on the jack, and I'll roll this tire around and check all the thread and make sure I don't have any make sure I don't have anything within the tire. But I have to actually have the back lifted so I can check it. So that's how I work with the front tire. Now I'm going to slide on around here to the rear. And with checking the rear, I actually have it jacked up so I can actually spin it around and check it and make sure there's nothing in the tire. When I'm checking that out also, I'm looking at how much tread I have, and then I'm looking at the sidewall. And I just did brakes not long ago, but normally I will have my saddlebags off and I will check the wear of the brake pads. And this is also a good time for you to check the belt. So what I'm gonna do now is go ahead and get the bike jacked up, and then I'll check all these things out, and then we'll keep moving on to the next step. All right, so we'll make sure this is secure. This one on your left side, it goes on with the adhesive inside of here, so it's not, and then it clamps on the side of there. It's the way it goes inside of this housing here, but it's not like the one over here on the throttle. I've seen once where a guy pulled this. He was moving his bike, he pulled this and it slipped off. So you want to make sure that's on there good, tight, secure. Here's your clutch deal. You're doing this right here, deal. You're just making sure you got some. Now you ride your bike, you get used to what it's like. But you got some spring action there, so that's cool there. But you don't want any leaks anywhere up here. This is your housing that holds your fluids. You don't want any leaks around here. You're checking out all your controls here. I know when I first put this on, it wasn't lined up and didn't fit just right, so I had problems with moving some of the buttons here. But anyway, you got to make sure all that stuff's aligned properly. Also check your mirrors out. Make sure your mirrors are nice and tight. That's very important. Make sure the mirrors nice and tight. A little bit loose. And also the top portion of the mirror, it takes like a star on the back, and you can tighten that up also. But the most important thing with doing this little inspection here, checking all your stuff out, is it gets you right for riding season. And not only that, it makes sure you have the appropriate tools within your toolbox that you carry, your tool roll that you carry on your bike. Like I said, I'll go through here and I'll check all the bolts on my primary. I'll check, I'll even check my spark plugs. I'll check my exhaust bolts, and I'll just check all the different bolts out that's there. Also, check out your the mounts on your cup holder. If you don't have a cup holder. We're all good to go. Next thing you want to look at too is just look around the house and make sure things are good. Up under here, it's a pin that goes through to hold your clutch in. Look out there, look in there and make sure you have your pin under there. Pin's there, secure, good to go. I'll do the same thing on the other side. Good to go there. I'm looking around my cables here to make sure there's no liquids. Well, of course, it'll be brake fluid. They flow down. Make sure your cables aren't kinked. And that's all good to go on your throttle. When you rotate it back, I know when I first put these on, it wasn't as smooth, so I had to take it off, and I think I just sanded it down just a little bit, just to make a nice smooth fit. But this right here is when you're setting the light or whatever you want to. Forgot what they call that deal, but you know, when you turn it back, to fire down to one cylinder when it's hot, you know, it have to be a little cooler or whatever. And then want to make sure your throttle's not sticking. It's your brake here. While you're over here also, you can check your brake. It should be nothing that stops them from working and being smooth. You turn your switch on. Here you check all your gauges out and everything. I'm checking my brakes right now, and I'm just looking back at a reflection to make sure the brakes are good. So hand brake's good there, foot brake's good there. I'll put my flashers on. And go around and check them out. Flash is good. Flash is good. And we check our oil down here. And that oil deal usually gets a little tight. But let's see. Another tool you need to have on the motorcycle right here is your transmission fluid. I'm going to pull that out and check the level of the transmission fluid. And then from there, I'll put that back in, and then I'll make sure that goes back into my toolkit. And I'm going to take all these covers off, these bolt covers. I'll take all those off and check those bolts, make sure they're good to go. I'll also check the bolts on my air cleaner. They, I think that's an 8-point or maybe a 12-point, 12-point socket, whatever that one is, but I bought one for that. And next thing to just check out is just look at all the different wires and make sure they're good to go. Check out their connections and everything. Make sure you're good. And I'll check the bolts on my floorboards. I'll check my bolts here on my foot pegs, the mounts that mounted to the crash bar. So yeah, basically just all the bolts that you have on the bike you want to check out. And also you want to check those these bolts down here that hold your exhaust on. I'll check those out. Another thing that I've lost before, I've lost a exhaust tip. So I also check they usually have some hex heads on them, but mine have a bolt right there, and I need to clean that out. I was just cleaning that up. So yeah, that's just some steel wool that was sitting there. But anyway, it's a bolter now. I'll check the head of that bolt. I'll check that bolt, make sure they're good to go. When I have my saddlebags off, I check those to make sure my bolt that exhaust is mounted to is good to go. And also I'll go up in here and check the bolts on my docking station, check those all out and make sure I'm good to go. But other than that, pretty much, you know, any bolt that you have on there, I think is good to go. Now it's also a good time to check all your locks on the saddlebag, check your lock on your trunk. And also when you check those locks out, you check for the latches. Throw some oil in it, make sure the oil's good there. And pretty much that's what you're looking at. You can't stress enough on all the boats to check. So if it's a boat and you can reach it or you can see it, just check it. You'd be surprised what comes loose from time. Also, when I had it off of my oil cooler installed down there, I checked the bolts that I had on my support for my fairing that comes down. And one thing we didn't talk about, pull on your handlebars. See if they're good to go. Could be some bushes and some of those, so check those out. I know my first motorcycle I had, I was just trying to get them right. I wasn't putting no handlebars on it, but I just tried to adjust the handlebars, and they wasn't tight one time. And I was riding. I was out one day, and I rode home with some loose handlebars. They were moving a little bit, not excessively, but you know they shouldn't have been. They should have been tighter than where they were. And by the way, there's that rock form. It's just another opportunity there to check those boat stairway goes into your perch mount, and where the arm here that holds your phone mounts into the mount of the rock form. Check those out. And I guess it makes sense, you know, check your boats out on your windshield. I have a GoPro mount there. I'll make sure I check that boat out. But all in all, just check out all your boats, and you should be good to go. If you have any other recommendations or suggestions when doing a inspection, please share. All right, so that pretty much takes care of the motorcycle safety inspection. Is there anything that you would have done different, or any recommendation that you have that can assist somebody in inspecting their motorcycle to make sure it's safe to operate? Please leave a comment, or you know, drop me a message, and you know, let me know what you do, or let me know things that I can do, because possibly, you know, it can be something to save my life. So we talked about the T-clocks, tires and wheels. Within tires and wheels, of course we check the wheel, the tire tread. We see if there's any excessive chips, anything out of the tire. We checked on our rims to make sure our rims didn't have any damage to them. We spin the back rim around, and spinning the back rim around, it gave us a visual of the whole tire, the rim, the tread. Also, it gave us opportunity to check our belt, to see if we had any damage within our belt. That's also great to check. That belt's like a Kevlar belt. They said it had like 80 to 100,000 miles on it, but it's always good to check those out, make sure they're good to go. We check to see if we have any liquids around our brake rotors. If any liquids around your brake rotors, can mean that you have possible damage to something within your brake system. Also, another note on brakes, the brake fluid. I think it's recommended. Check with the owner manual, check with the Harley shop, but I think they recommend you change that like every 2 years. When you get a service, they check it. If it don't need change, they don't change it. If it need change, I guess they'll change it, and it'll just be a fee added to your service on that. But there is a tool that you can buy that you can dip in it, and it'll let you know if you have any moisture. That's what the reason you have to change it, because sometimes they get moisture in it, and if you get some moisture in it and water gets in it, it's not gonna function properly. So it's important to check it every 2 years. And I've already did that when I did a brake job. I checked it out and I actually flushed it. I bought a nice, bought a little flushing deal and flushed it all out. So I'm good to go on that for at least another year. So that's really important there. Check out your brake fluid also. And then we went from there to our controls. Within our controls, we checked all our levers, switches, cables, hoses, and our throttle. Throttle makes sure it doesn't stick and it bounces back. And then we moved on down. We talked about our lights and our electric stuff. I just had my seat off when I was doing my battery, when I was doing the oil cooler, so I know my battery's good to go. Check your connectors on your battery, make sure they're nice and tight. That should be done with an inspection also. Also look at your any corrosion, anything like that. Make sure you put some of that stuff on there to free the corrosion, or some preventer from the corrosion. You don't want that going on with your battery. We check out our lights, signal lights, brake lights. All of those things worked out. We're good to go. And then next thing you know, we checked out oil. oil, transmission fluid. I didn't put that on the video when I checked it out, but I got the transmission fluid checked out. Make sure you have that in your toolkit, but that's the large Allen or hex wrench that you have here. And that takes that cover out and it shows you where your transmission fluid should be at. And then also I will go around and check all of the bolts on everything else. Another important thing I didn't talk about either was that on your linkage. Back in the day it was a common problem. I had a problem with my last bike with the linkage. So I used to always check that. I think when I was a Sturgis, it actually came loose. And I caught it enough time to have to tighten it up. But that's something I do, you know, like probably before every ride. I think it's, what size is that bolt? I think it's 1 1/4 hex head. The rear one's sort of hard to get to, but if you get an extension, you can get down there and check that one out. Make sure you always check that. The front one's not so bad. The front one, check it, make sure it's nice and tight all the time also. And then, didn't talk much about the chassis on this, but go through, check out your chassis. When you're underneath the bike, check out your chassis. When you're taking saddlebags off, you can check your frame and all that kind of stuff out. Drive belt, if you have a bike with a chain, check your chain out. But just around the chassis, you know, it's gonna go from all of your chassis on your side of your engine, check out where your engine support is. You can tighten that bolt up, check it out. Go down underneath, see if you get any cracks, anything like that. If you got any wires from LED lights ran, just make sure they are free of the belt, free of the rim, the tire, and all that kind of stuff. And the exhaust, have all that stuff tucked out of the way with some zip ties. And then some of these things you should set up do for a pre-ride inspection. Pre-ride inspection can take no more than 3 to 5 minutes. Also, when you're getting gas, you know, just come up with a couple of different things to check out. You know, check your tires out every now and then. Pre-ride inspections, or come up with a schedule. Get you a pre-ride inspection that you do before every ride. Get a little more into it every quarter, or maybe long ride. But definitely stay on top of your air pressure, because stay on top of your air pressure can save life on tires. First is not keeping your air pressure at the correct setting. Look at your owner manual and your manufacturer, what the tire manufacturer recommend. Don't take what I'm saying, but you know in mine I run 36 in the front and 38 and 40 in the rear. That's what I run. And other than that, you know, that's what the inspection's like. Let me know what you think about this video, and definitely share it with others, and like the video, subscribe to this channel. And I'm trying to do this thing with Hogilac TV, and it's pretty fun. But I'll keep bringing you some content, things that I think is relevant to what you want to check out, and probably just whatever in life. But other than that, stay tuned. Keep checking back with me every now and then, see when something new posts, and let's grow together. Let's ride.